What's up, Internet? Welcome once again to the Free-to-Play Cast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com. Your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magicman. This is episode 372, and we're doing the show live on January 29th on twitch.tv/MMOBomb. So if you're watching on the website or if you're watching on YouTube, come on over. Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern for a Free-to-Play Cast. And stay a little while for our free-to-play stream afterwards. Today we'll be putting up a poll. We've got two different games. One's always free. One's free for a week. A Metroidvania and a Brawler. We'll let chat decide what we play after the show today. But we've got a lot to get to, so let's jump right into it by introducing my co-host for the day, Mr. Wilfredo Rivera. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Nothing could possibly go wrong today at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
No. Not the slightest.
Not at all. It's good to see you. Good to see you.
See you too.
You have internet. That's good. That's good.
That's good. And it's really weird to be in this spot because usually I'm in the other spot, but it's this spot.
That spot.
Yeah.
This spot.
Jason, I hope you're not mad. I'm not trying to take over your spot and everything. You're the silver fox here, no matter what.
See,
you'll always be.
See, they don't know what you're talking about yet because we're not in the three-host frame. you're in your solo frame. But yes. There is method to that madness, too. Also on the line, Robin Baird, a.k.a. Arlie. How are you?
I'm great.
Welcome back.
Yay.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. It's been already a crazy year.
We're not even a month into it yet. But Dogecoin is up, so that's all good, right?
Yeah. That means everything in the world is great.
Everything is okay. Everything is okay. The Doge is doing well. So now you can see what Wilfredo was talking about. He's in the upper right spot, the three-host panel. So the rationale there, by the way, is seniority. That's all. That's it.
I'm a noob.
Wait, did you just say I'm a senior?
Yes, I did. Compared to Robin, you are a free-to-play cast senior citizen.
Yeah, man.
All right, we got a lot of stuff to cover. I know the first topic Robin's particularly excited about, so let's get right over to the news. So, this past week, IGN had a hands-off demo with Magic Legends. That's the action RPG that's coming up. Open beta March 23rd. Now, it got bumped out of last year, so I'm not surprised to see that it's this early, but we are a little bit less than 2 months away from open beta. And before we start talking about IGN's specific review, and I'm showing the deck building trailer that went up with that review, since both of you haven't really had a chance to talk about this one a lot, I do want to get your impressions. This is coming from Cryptic Studios, Perfect World Entertainment. Maybe that carries some concerns by itself for some of you. I don't know. We'll get to it. I'm going to start with you, Robin, because as soon as I sent the show notes over, I get a private DM tweet from a message from Robin that says, "Oh my God, we're talking about Magic Legends, yay!" I was like, "Oh, I guess you're excited about this one." So we'll start with you. Go ahead. Some of your initial thoughts on the game itself.
So, just to put it in context, I come to this as like a Magic noob, basically. Like I know about Magic card game. I know basics of it, but I've never been one who's played it. A lot of my friends and everything have played it, but I never got into it.
Okay.
But like when they first announced this, the idea of combining the card game with an ARPG just really spoke to me. And I know originally they were talking about it being an MMO, but I'm kind of glad they've let that go.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Many reasons.
I don't, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
But like, I was really fascinated by it. So I've been following it a lot, and I'm just most everything I've seen about it has just seemed like it's a really cool idea. And I can't wait to get like the game as a whole with everything available to mess with, to see how it all works together. Because I've gotten to play a little bit of it here and there, and what I've seen and experienced has been so much fun. So, yes, that's why I'm excited about it.
Wilfredo, do you share the excitement? Are you a Magic the Gathering fan to begin with?
Oh, I used to play Magic back in the day. 98, man. That's when I first started playing. I ran a black-blue deck for a while, then a black-blue-white deck. This looks good. This looks really polished. I was checking out the dev stream that they did. Everything in the game looks really good. I am curious how they plan on implementing some of these cards, some of the more famous cards in the game, as part of the deck building system within it. My only question is, did they have to go ARPG?
Well, that's the interesting, that's a bit of an interesting take there, because I'm looking back through, and Robin, you've been, with MMORPG.com for a while doing their thing, so you get press releases and, private emails about upcoming stuff that's embargoed and everything. I'm looking back through emails. Here's 12/12/2019. Subject line, Magic Legends, Magic the Gathering MMO Action RPG announced. That was during the Game Awards that year. Now, prior to that, I had private emails from the company about the announcement coming up, so we could have our coverage ready and everything. So the MMO moniker was not accidental. It was not accidental. They were calling this an MMO. And I'll be honest, when they first showed the game, because when you say MMO action RPG, I don't know about you, but I kind of think about Terra. A game like Terra. That's an MMO RPG that I would consider in the action variety versus a Final Fantasy XIV or a World of Warcraft, where, that's...
Blade and Soul, too, I think.
Yeah, I would put Blade and Soul in any of that type of action-y combat, right? That was the term for a long time. Well, does it have action combat or tab targeting combat? Remember that?
Right.
Remember those days? That's where I kind of put it. And I think when I initially saw what the game was, I was a little disappointed too, Wilfredo, right off the bat. I was like, so it's an ARPG, it's Diablo, it's Torchlight, it's Path of Exile. Not that was a bad thing for me, but that's not what they were billing it as. And now, according to the IGN article, they're very careful, like they don't want people referring to it as an MMO. Well, Robin, then maybe you shouldn't have started by calling it an MMO yourself, right? I mean, that's just...
Right. I was looking back after I chatted with you too, and I was trying to figure out like the logic for it, because
it sells.
I mean,
that's the only thing I could come up with, was it sold. Tell people you're going to get a Magic the Gathering MMO, and there is a big audience that wants a piece of that pie.
Right, but like on the backside, the infrastructure and what you have to build to make an MMO work, and I feel like in some ways an action MMO specifically is so much more than what you need for an ARPG. Even if it's like one where other players, you can invite them into your game or stuff, you don't need the same kind of infrastructure built that you need for an MMO. So if they were truly going for an MMO in the first place, I'm curious
they weren't.
Why they chose. Okay.
To me, there's no way that they mistook this, Wilfredo, for an MMO. They knew what they were making, and, saying we're making a Magic the Gathering ARPG doesn't sound as, ooh, I want a piece of that to me, as we're making a Magic the Gathering MMO. I think it's arguably, they're not lying, right? It is multiplayer. It's more multiplayer in the way that Destiny is, by the way. So you'll see a couple people in the world or in the hubs. You won't see everybody like you do, in a World of Warcraft. That's what they're going for here. Again, none of this is bad stuff, by the way. Like, I'm griping about it, but only because it's a self-inflicted wound that I think was done just to try and grab a bit of press, using the term MMO that they didn't need to. I would have been okay if they would have announced an ARPG. That's fine, too. I'm interested in playing this. I do agree with you. I want to get into the cards. Now, IGN's hands-on demo, we should say, was hands-off, which I think is a little concerning to me for a game that is going into open beta in less than 2 months, Wilfredo. That seems a little bit odd that it would be hands-off at this point still.
I think, if you think about it, when it comes to most game devs, they're going to focus on trying to sell the product as much as they can. So if they're going to have something like a hands-off demo, that means they've really worked and tooled this so that this part looks good.
Yeah.
And now, those who are going to be joining along with the beta, they're going to be the ones who are going to experience many of the bugs that may have been overlooked. Again, it's all about selling the product. They're going to sell it. And this game is probably going to do great, especially because of the IP attached to it. I mean, it's Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at some point, I was even hooked to a point where I bought their action figures and realized that was a very poor investment. But that being said, this is it's going to make people play. Even if it's just for a one-off, for a month, it'll be fine. I think the game's going to do great. It's just, we've got the same thing again when people were expecting something else. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yep. Echo of Soul, ARPG, online, cool. Path of Exile, again.
Yeah, no doubt.
MMO.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's just the way how they're marketing it. I think they knew what they were doing at a certain point and just went, ooh.
Yeah, and now they're, hey, don't call it an MMO. Yeah, well, about the game itself, by the way, you have your class that you're going to be a planeswalker. You pick one of 5, represented by the 5 different colors of mana in Magic the Gathering. And those determine your core abilities, like your primary attack, maybe you have an evasion type move, a shadow step type thing in one class and a different mechanic in another. Those are decided by your class. But then, Robin, you talked about the deck, right? You got to build a 12-card deck. Now, how do you get cards? You obtain them through gameplay. You can buy booster packs. They're random. No, you cannot, at this time from IGN's review, go in and buy specific cards with real money. You also upgrade these cards with different currencies farmed in-game up to, I think they said, level 10. You're going to build a deck of 12 cards, and you'll notice in the video here that you keep seeing the abilities in the lower right pop up differently. That's your deck. Your deck can be 1 or 2 colors at this time. It can't be any more than that. So if you want to build a red-black burn, you can build a red-black burn. If you want to do some tricolored monstrosity, you're not going to be able to do that yet. Now, that's where the element of random comes in, because your abilities in the lower right corner are based on your deck, which is shuffled before your adventure and randomly drawn one at a time. The only thing I don't like about this, I do like that it's, kind of mixing the element of random, which Magic the Gathering is, into the game. I do like that, although it is very limited. You're talking about a 12-card pool, so it's not going to be, I wouldn't imagine it being cripplingly random. But it does mean that your abilities pop in different slots at different times. So your Fireball, for instance, was X on your controller the first time it came up. Now it's A, which means that your eyes do have to constantly, at least briefly, leave the action of the screen to figure out what card you just drew if you missed it on the pop-up on the fly-in or anything and what slot it's in. I think that presents a little bit of a learning curve for some people, that X isn't always going to be Fireball, A isn't always going to be Lightning Bolt, stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, no, it makes sense because some of the problems I run into with the ARPG sometime, and I think like Diablo 3 was a good example of it, was once I got in and built like my class with my gear and everything the way I wanted, it was very kind of button smashy because I was just using the same abilities all of the time. And like the way I had built myself, I had made myself so that I rolled over things, which, I did on purpose. But like it did get boring after a while because I was just hitting the exact same things in the exact same order most of the time. I think that this randomness and things not necessarily always being on the same buttons and not always like being available will help it keep more interesting over a longer period of time.
Yeah, and monetization is still a concern here, I think. Even IGN said that they're still kind of concerned about it. They're excited for the game. I'm excited for the game, too. I can't wait to get my hands on it. But monetization continues to be a concern. One, it's perfect world entertainment, and it's cryptic. So if you're not a fan of like Neverwinter's monetization or the way Star Trek Online is monetized, Wilfredo, then there's a chance you're probably going into this with a bit of a negative impression before even having seen the monetization. Then we had a closed test in 2020 that some stuff leaked out of it under NDA, and they were talking about different timer stuff, the mobile type stuff where there's a timer and you could pay to skip the timer for certain things. And don't know if that's still in the game or not, but I think it's rightful to be concerned here, Wilfredo.
The moment I heard Cryptic Perfect World, I was like, man, are we gonna see some crazy monetization? And you would think, as big as Magic is, they're probably gonna enjoy some of this because you're buying booster packs random.
Right.
You're gonna be going into this, maybe able to acquire new cards. Great, cool. But this is Perfect World and Cryptic. More Perfect World than anything. This is a callback to the original Perfect World International game. The cash shop in that was awful. It was horrible. I mean, I give credit where credit is due after they bought Cryptic and, they made Star Trek go free to play. And then they're like, hey, if you want to get the subscription base, you can pay for it or do a lifetime for $400. I mean, there's some kind of semblance of sanity there. We'll see how they do it here, but I'm going in just kind of like, all right, I'm watching this cash shop because I'm not going to break my pocket for a card that I may not get.
Yep. Again, I know we kind of maybe seem down, particularly me, on the game a little bit, but I'm not. I think they did some crappy stuff using MMOs just to garner attention. I'm concerned about monetization. But honestly, I like the idea of, initially, of course, if you pick the Fire Planeswalker, you're going to be presented with a Fire deck, right? But you aren't tied to that. You could be a Fire Planeswalker running with a blue-white deck if you really wanted to. So there's a lot of opportunity here for Wilfredo and I to play the exact same Planeswalker in drastically different ways. And that's always good in my book. I'm eager to check this one out, but I'm being cautiously optimistic on this one. And I think it's fair to say that a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's Perfect World, Robin. It's,
yeah,
it's perfect.
Well, I mean, honestly, I loved Neverwinter when it first came out, but the monetization killed it for me. And every time I try to go back, I'm like, I can't deal with this. So that's 100% where my hesitance is coming from. If I really, really want to enjoy the game, but I'm aware.
If we get global messages about people getting certain prizes in this game, I'm out. I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I agree. That's definitely a check, please kind of moment.
Yeah. Wilfredo got Purple Nightmare. Fuck you, mount. I don't care. Log out. Uninstall.
Right.
Congratulations. Well done.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yes.
You bought keys from the cash shop, sucker. I'm out of here.
Good job. So how much did that cost you, really?
All right. So hype levels 1 to 10, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Robin, you go first.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Hype level 1 to 10.
Oh, I'm honestly like 8-9 range, so 8.5.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Wilfredo?
I'm more of a 6.
I think I'm with you. I think Robin, you're a little way up there. But yeah, I think I'll sit at a 6. I've been burned by Perfect World enough to be a little more cautious about this. So, but hey, if you're hype about it, let us know in the comments below where you are on the hype meter between 1 and 10 for Magic Legends, because you are a little less than 2 months away from getting to play it in open beta, assuming you don't get into some type of closed beta between now and then. Let's move on to, oh my God. This is just such a cluster. I mean, this is absolute cluster. Darwin Project developer co-founders accused of promoting toxic, sexist, and workplace environment. So Scavengers Studio, you may know them as the Project Darwin creators. That battle royale that actually had a little bit of potential in my book when I initially played it, then drastically changed course on the way the characters, the heroes worked, and now has basically like 4 servers running. They shut them all down except those, and there's no moderation or development or bug fixing or anything coming down. They revealed their game Season. I think it was at the Video Game Awards, wasn't it?
think
Yeah.
so.
And that looked, like narrative driven, and a bunch of people were liking that one and everything. Well, apparently, all is not well behind the curtain, as GameIndustry.biz reported in a pretty lengthy expose article that, maybe working there wasn't the best, particularly if you were of the female variety. Founded by former Ubisoft designer Simon Darvaux and Amélie Lamarche, who at the time of founding were in a romantic relationship, pretty much became a boys' club. And I'm not going to just read all of the stuff going. We have a whole article on MMO Bomb if you want to know more. But it basically became a boys' club where there were favored in the clique and there were unfavored, not in the clique / disposable employees. Alcohol involved, allegedly. Touching involved, allegedly. Verbal abuse and screaming, and employees had no recourse because the de facto lead of the HR department was Lamarche, who was dating Simon and was one of the co-founders. So it just kept boiling and boiling over the last few years. Now, we should note that 2 days ago, there's an update to this one. Amélie Lamarche announced that she's temporarily stepping down from her position as CEO while an independent firm comes in to conduct an audit of all business practices. And Simon has indefinitely been suspended from all responsibilities within the company and from the board of directors. So another one of those cases, and why do we keep going down this road? Like the last 4 years, Robin, it's just been, hey, this company's been really shitty, especially to women. And now that we're caught, we're going to get better at it. We're going to get better. We're going to get better. We're going to get better. We're going to fix this. We're going to bring an independent team in to tell us, don't grope people.
Right.
Like, how hard is this?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel bad because I feel like I should be upset by this, but I don't. I'm just like, yeah, it's another one. Whatever.
It's numbing,
like,
isn't it? It's just numbing.
I've literally reached a point where unless I know people who work at a game company enough that if something was going on badly, like they would say something, unless I know from people inside that a company is good to work, I just assume it's a terrible place to work. Like it's just I don't know. I can't. The one thing on this that shocks me still is that the CEO was dating the head of HR. Like that's a level of.
Well, to be a little fair,
that okay?
To be a little fair here on that one, the two were dating when they co-founded the company. So
right,
and we're talking about a small company between 30 and 40 people. So they're generally with a company that size, regardless of what industry you're in, there isn't really an HR department, so to speak, for a company that small. But you're absolutely right. There should be that whole, you're complaining about my boyfriend, I should probably recuse myself from this.
Right. Like there should have been some point where they said, oh, maybe I shouldn't deal with HR things because, I have other interests. Like it just, that part blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah, Q pointing out that and I said that at the top of the piece, that Simon was former Ubisoft as well, who has its own series of allegations going on for the last 6 to 10 months as well. Wilfredo and Robin, permit me to clarify, and if I'm off base here, let me know. Just so nobody misconstrues your point on, you're not, unless you know somebody this doesn't, you're not saying that this doesn't upset you, this doesn't cause grief or anything. You were more making the point that I'm just not surprised and immediately angered by seeing these headlines like I feel like I should be because I see them all the time now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just there's no surprise, I guess, anymore. The shock and awe has worn off.
Hey, Wilfredo, let's not touch people that don't want us to touch them. I mean
what's so hard about here's the thing. I look at spacing between people's personal bubble the same way as I look at, being bludgeoned with a baseball bat. Unless I say it's okay, don't come near me. That's not a hard thing to understand. It's a very commonplace thing, but that requires common sense, and common sense isn't so common. So in regards to this, I I've got this thought.
You got your bat out. I see it.
I've got this thought. Maybe if you had taken a moment to realize that you were being the canoeist of douches, aka the douche canoe, maybe you would realize that this company, and I've noticed that this is a trend, companies that have some kind of unbalanced power structure, they always seem to find a way to be in this situation.
Yep.
I think there needs to be a little bit more of a co-op feel for many of these development companies, not just development companies, companies in general, because giving any one person, or in this case, two people who were dating at the time, this much power and to be able to say, hey, this is fine and excuse it like it's nothing. Look, you can sit here and say it was locker room talk all you want. It's not acceptable under any circumstances.
Yeah, and we've seen comments on this too on MMO Bomb, because I have Q and I do the moderating of comments.
Yeah.
Oh God. And on other things and on other sites, like I'm in business. I have been in business forever. There are people that you have a very particular relationship with in business where a joke that works between Robin and I might not work between Wilfredo and I because there are different sensibilities. And that's okay in my mind. That's okay. If Robin and I are totally okay joking privately with each other in a certain way, and that's not the type of way Wilfredo and I would joke around, you know what I don't do? I don't joke around with Wilfredo in that way. I hate the immediate reply you always get on these damn articles was people need to lighten up. People need to be able to take a joke. It's not about fucking taking a joke.
Right.
Getting drunk and groping you at a party has nothing to do with that. Pulling you into a meeting room and screaming at you as my employee loud enough for people outside the room to be hearing what we're screaming about, that is not okay. That is not somebody being a delicate flower, a snowflake, or anything like that. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I can discipline you as my subordinate, Robin, or tell you that I'm unhappy with your performance without getting in your face and screaming at you about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's business 101, really. Like,
Oh, we also like. I also like
that.
the comment, Wilfredo. Well, if you didn't like it, you should just leave. That goes, yeah. If you didn't like it, you should just leave. Just leave. Find a new job. Find a new job.
That bugs me to no end. As a matter of fact, most of these excusable comments that people will say, that drives me bananas. First off, even Anthony Jeselnik, one of the darkest comics I've ever heard, knows how to read a room before they tell a joke.
Yeah.
But also understands there is a line you don't cross. This is not that hard to find. It's pretty freaking obvious. Just don't cross it. And if you know you're going to, step out of the room, step away from that position, do whatever you have to do, but don't do that. Not hard. What, man?
Yeah, Chad is mentioning, please, if you can find who that was. I don't remember her name, and I feel really bad about it. I want to credit where due. If Chat can find the name for me. There was a streamer this week that she was streaming whatever game, doesn't matter. And one of her chat asked her what color her thong was.
I saw that.
Yeah. Please get me her name. Please, if you can, Chat. I want to credit where due here. And I mean, she just normally she tweeted it out saying, 99% of the time I just ignore this type of stuff in my chat. And this one she didn't. This was the 1%. And she teed off on this person in just an epic, well said, it's not a joke. You didn't mean it as a joke. It was amazing. It was amazing. Who is it? Dead by Daylight streamer. What's her name? Negorix?
Oh, Negora?
Negora, yeah. It's not one I'm familiar with. Negaoryx.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Negorix. Something. I apologize.
Like that,
I apologize. I'm not familiar with her content. That doesn't mean she's not like infinitely bigger than me or anything like that. She probably is a lot bigger than me, as far as Twitch. Like most people are. Hell, my cat is. So that is not to diminish her influence in any way that I don't know her name. I'm just not familiar with the content. Thank you so much for finding that, Q. so that we could give credit where due. If you haven't watched it, absolutely watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. That's kind of life as a female streamer, really, unfortunately.
My question is this: can we change the culture finally so that it's not the commonplace thing?
That's the other thing. It's like, what makes you think you can get away with it anymore? Like, after you see Ubisoft get pinged, after you see Riot get pinged, after you see all these big companies getting pinged, do you really think your company isn't going to get found out and exposed like this? Stop.
Yeah.
If for no other reason than you don't want the bad press that comes with it, stop.
Well, the other thing is, like, with so many of those things where people are like, it was a joke, lighten up. Like, I'm sorry, if something was a joke and the person didn't find it, then they just didn't like your joke. And you should be like, I'm sorry. Like, there's no personal offense for you to take that they didn't like your joke or that your joke bothered them. If it was really just a joke, then okay.
Yep.
Like, why are you getting upset that the other person got upset? Like, I don't understand people's indignation over just being like, it was a joke. Oh my God. Like,
in my life, I have made inappropriate jokes at the wrong time.
Oh yeah.
In my life,
absolutely.
I have apologized for every single one face to face when I realized they offended. And the result of that was somebody that didn't view me as trying to offend them or being a jagoff. I was a person that made a mistake. I overestimated or misjudged our relationship. I'm not talking about like racist or sexist jokes or things like that. So don't think that I'm backstage making these types of jokes to people. I just misjudged what was appropriate in that friendship, and I've apologized.
Like, I've done that too. Like, I have a very kind of dark sense of humor, very kind of dry sense of humor, and occasionally, like, something will occur to me that's funny, and I'll forget like the full context of the person I'm talking to, and just say what I think, and then like they'll look at me horrified, and then I'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I did not mean that the way it came across." And like,
we've all been
that's
there.
just being a person.
Yeah, we've all been there. I don't want to take too much time with this, but Scavengers Studio, it's a mess. And hopefully these changes will work out for the better for the staff, because ultimately there are some talented people there, once again, caught up in a stupid situation, which is something we're seeing over and over far too many times. Hey, speaking of other companies, Jagex got bought again. I don't know. I don't know at this point. So now they're acquired by investment firm Carlyle Group. This is after they were previously purchased, maybe, I don't know, by MacArthur. And then we still got Pluto Sama in the mix saying none of these sales are valid, and there's alleged criminality in some of these sales. I don't know. So they might be owned by the Carlyle Group. And if you talk to Jagex, they told GameIndustry.biz that Pluto Sama's allegations are meritless and in all respects, excuse me, and will deal with the situation accordingly. We can confirm Carlyle has acquired Jagex regardless of any claims made by third parties in relation to the deal. But we should also say and follow Jason's reporting on this, because Jason's been working on this damn story for months and months and months. They said the same thing about the sale/non-sale to MacArthur Fortune in April. So I don't know. Take it for what it's worth. There's all kinds of... Happy anniversary RuneScape, though, right? I don't know what else to say on that one. Finishing off financial news, the Xbox Gold Pass, which for years we have lamented the fact that free-to-play players had to have the $50 to $60, depending on what year you're talking about, Xbox Live Gold service to play their free-to-play games, when that was not a requirement on PlayStation or obviously the PC. Well, turns out that's going to be coming to an end finally. It should have many, many years ago. And this comes hot on the heels of Microsoft having to backpedal like a mofo. when they decided that they were going to up the cost of a gold subscription to the point where the 6 months that was normally $30 was going to become $60, which would make a 1-year membership if you bought 6 months double what it currently is now. It took all of 15 hours of internet feedback, Wilfredo, for Microsoft to not only walk back the price change, but then to say, hey, coming soon, you're not going to need this for free-to-play games anymore, because that was a gripe a lot of the internet was throwing into the argument.
You see how I'm kind of like arms crossed?
Yeah, you look a little standoffish, like you want to fight some Xbox Live memberships.
Yeah, there's a reason why I primarily play it on PC, because most consoles will ask for, money for their network, which makes sense. They have to keep their servers up. When they said we're going to go $120 for a year, I'm sorry, have you not seen the past year already? Who's got that kind of money? And two, how is it that Sony, who has a far inferior infrastructure when it comes to their online services, said, hey, Warframe, Star Trek Online, and Path of Exile, DC Universe Online, go ahead and play them. It's fine. Just using our console. That's fine. Go ahead and play. And meanwhile, Microsoft said, hey, we're going to put that behind a paywall. Are you serious? Like, bruh, way to make like a hot dog and ketchup. Finally.
Zing. Zing. Yeah, it was a pretty abrupt about face, Robin. And I like that the free-to-play thing was thrown in there. What we don't know, though, is when. They just say in the coming months as soon as possible. So you may still, for a while, to enjoy your free-to-play games on the Xbox, you may still have to have your gold membership. Ultimately, I think they made the only logical and correct call here, Robin.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't understand why it's taking a couple of months to make this happen. Like, I guess they have to change something on their end, or like change some structure, but that's confounding to me, honestly. I'm just like, just turn off the payment. Just do it. Let people play the games. Like, come on.
This isn't that hard, folks.
Right?
See where it says require gold? Click that. Toggle it off.
Push the button.
Toggle it off. So look for that soon, Xbox fans. Next up, when I tweeted out Jason's article, I was like, yeah, you know what I do need in my life? Some Dragon PvP. I do need that in my life. I didn't realize I did, but I do. And luckily, Dragon Battler Century Age of Ashes might have me covered. We don't know yet, right? We got a closed beta going on this weekend. Another one I didn't get in, but that's all right. I'll get into one at some point. And then we've got basically an early access launch coming in February. So if you're looking for some dragon battling, and I think the video I have right here, it's kind of get to the other stuff. Right now it's showing music, but because I have it muted, you're not going to see that stuff. So there are highlights from scores of the game, which I'm showing now, various elements that comprise the music. So yeah, I don't know. I'm like, we knew about this last year. I really want to get into the closed beta here. I'm probably not this weekend, but February's one at least. I could use some dog fighting, dragon fighting in my life, Wilfredo. I think that would be neat.
Kind of reminds you of Panzer Dragoon a little bit.
Yeah, a little on rails. Panzer on rails. This is obviously freeform, but yeah.
Oh, obviously, but still, it's got the nice feel to it. It looks dope. I'm not going to argue about this too much because it looks awesome. I just hope they don't screw it up, because you could easily bomb this if they do it the wrong way. But I think there's a lot of hope for this. I have a lot of cautious optimism for this one, just because of the retro vibes that I'm getting from it.
Yeah, it's coming from the team over at Playwing. Now, that might be a little concerning by itself, only because it is a team, Robin, that we don't really hear a lot about. In fact, if you go to their website and you look at our games, you get Century Age of Ashes, which we're talking about, and Instant War. Have you guys heard of Instant War?
What's that?
Exactly. Yeah, it's a modern warfare strategy cross-platform game that's mobile and PC and everything. It might be good. I have no idea. Never heard of it in my entire life. And that's all you see on their website. So a little bit of reservation maybe from getting overly hyped for shooting dragons out of the damn sky. Robin just giving me the nod.
I mean, it's an interesting concept, but like you said, I don't have much experience with this particular developer, so like I don't really have anything to hinge any expectations on. Like I would like it to be good, but it's kind of I'm at a point where I'm like, well, we'll just have to see what it ends up being.
Yeah.
Like
I'm eagerly awaiting it. Let's say that. I'm eagerly awaiting it. Last update before we do the weekly bombs and get out of here. Not only is PSO2 going to get its first update of 2021, adding in the Scion class Luster and all kinds of other stuff, new quests and all that, but we also have some new Genesis gameplay. I'm showing it to you here. I'm showing you just a clip, a few minutes of basically a first look that came from the 26-hour, 25-hour, whatever stream, where we got to see some actually playing the game, not just let's walk and do a tour. So, by the way, if you're interested in New Genesis, PSO2 New Genesis, and you're going to go watch this video, it's like 45 minutes long. We have it on the site. You can check it out. We have PSO2's first 2021 update about the Luster class. And then the New Genesis stuff, it's all in the same piece, so all in one stop for you. This has got to be the best dubbing in a video I have ever heard when it comes to video games. The two that did the English dubbing were just phenomenal. They were phenomenal. And this video, Jason, I agree with you. It does give it a much better presentation than previous videos we've seen, which were very specific. Like they would take us to see something, and they were showing off certain aspects that might appeal to PSO2 players. Oh, that's different, but really didn't generally have an appeal to somebody that wasn't familiar with the game, where this, I think, gives you a much better idea of whether you played PSO2 or not. Here's what you can expect. We've also got what items are going to transfer, what items won't. It's a ton of updates, and you'll have some new Phantasy Star Online 2 stuff and New Genesis. What do you think of the gameplay now that we've kind of seen it without any restrictions on it, Robin?
So this is a game I've never checked out any of the iterations of. I've always wanted to. I just never gotten around. But honestly, looking at this gameplay, I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I really should move that up on my list of things to check out. Like,
bump it up a little.
It looks far more interesting than what I've seen previously. Like previously, it's always been like, it's interesting, but this looks like it could be a lot of fun. I should try it.
They show a lot of time. They spend a lot of time, Wilfredo, talking about movement, which is big for Phantasy Star players. And then there's a whole sequence on character customization in the video. I'm not going to show that in here, but check it out. There's a ton of customization. Again, more important for PSO2 players who want that customization to be there. But the movement is just fantastic compared to PSO2 itself. Whether it's gliding, whether it's dashing, a lot of verticality, and just if you can see it, there's a good chance you could probably go jump on the damn thing. I feel like I'm just talking about stuff that we take for granted, like that should be in the game. But it's hard to. You got to remind yourself, PSO2 is 8 years old. Just because we got it in 2020. It is 8 years old, so it is very much a product. As Jason said in one of his pieces, it's a brilliant line. It's a product of its time and its country of origin. It very much is. Seeing that world a little more modernized, not as much as I would like, at least from what we've seen, but pushing in that direction as a PSO fan in general, I love to see it. Wilfredo.
Yeah, no, this almost looks like a whole new game.
Well, it essentially is, yeah.
So they've really gone and done the work, and it shows so far. I can't wait to see what happens when it finally drops, because there's something about PSO2 that I'm like, all right, this is cool, but it gets very repetitive real quick. This looks fantastic. And you're right. Like having something as small as, oh, the movement feels better is a big step, because when you're used to playing something that feels clunky and very dated, to see the movement now and you're just like, wow, this right.
One of the commentators, when they were talking about movement and a tutorial that's in the game on movement and everything, he's like, wow, this really makes me feel like I'm a better player. That's how good the movement is. I feel like I'm a better player than I am.
That's awesome.
One interesting thing, we saw them going from city to field and pretty far out into the field, actually. No loading screens. We didn't see a single one. The only time we saw anything was a brief fade to black, fade back in on a home point, like a fast travel. So they were on the far side of the map. They fast traveled back to the city. There was a fade to black and then a fade in from black. That was it. We didn't see any loading screens. They started in the PSO2 lobby and then jumped to New Genesis from there via the block elevators. So that's as easy as it is. If you play PSO2 and you change blocks, that's as easy as it's going to be to jump from PSO2 to PSO2 New Genesis as well. So all good stuff, I still want to see gameplay loop. Like, what is the hardcore gameplay loop going to be? I mean, I would anticipate it's going to be similar to PSO or PSO2 or anything like that. We'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A whole new storyline too, obviously, since it's 1,000 years after the events of PSO2. Again, it did cause me to stop playing PSO2 because I didn't really see a point. So I hope New Genesis grabs me back up, because if it doesn't, there really still is no point in going back to PSO2. And I guess I had a good year with having Phantasy Star in English, but so I hope New Genesis ends up doing well. Let's slide over to the weekly bombs and get the hell out of here. If I can hit the bump here. Boop. Miss Robin, Happy New Year's. You can go first. What do you got for us this week?
Oh, good. No, I've been thinking about it all week. I was like, I want to like do a positive one this time, and like I literally couldn't come up with anything. So I'm literally just what is it? The bomb is good. What was the negative?
The bomb
one?
is good. A bomb is bad.
Sorry.
In case you need to know.
Oh, pull it up.
We got the chart here for you that a fan made many, many years ago. We probably do need to get this updated. It doesn't really fit the theme of the show anymore. But Da-Bomb is good. Dropped a huge content patch, and it's amazing. A-Bomb, like the atomic bomb, is bad. Lawbreakers, am I right? All right, so I believe you're looking for A-Bomb. Are you writing it down? Are you making notes? No, it didn't crap out on your Discord. Didn't crap out on you. We can still see you.
Might have been an audio issue.
Oh, it's back. Like I literally, like everything was just like nothing was happening. I was like,
no, you're good. We can still see and hear you. We thought you were taking notes on which bomb was which.
That's the best.
So you're going negative, so you want an A-bomb, an atomic bomb.
Yes, an A-bomb. I just want to do an A-bomb to all of the coronavirus pandemic stuff that's still going on. I want to be done with it. I'm so tired.
So you could just take a nap. Take a well-earned nap.
Yes.
Wilfredo.
Yes.
Yeah, so mine is a very significant one. It's a A-bomb sandwich. A-bomb in the beginning, Da-bomb in the middle, A-bomb in the end. So my A-bomb to start is my internet today. But then I have a Da-bomb, which is going to our local Silver Fox, Jason Winter, for being very active in my very first Twitch stream on Sunday. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for showing up.
He's a good guy sometimes. He's a good guy sometimes.
Which brings me around to my other A-bomb, which is for the first 10 minutes of that stream, I totally forgot to turn on my mic.
We've all been there. I didn't even know you streamed. If I would have seen it, I would have stopped by and said hi. So I'm glad Jason saw it and was able to stop by and say hi. He's a good guy sometimes. Silver Fox is now in the dictionary, Jason. You're absolutely right. It is in the dictionary. I'm going to give a dub bomb to, obviously, the removal of the free-to-play restriction without having the Xbox Gold Pass live. I got to give it that. You're the meat in the sandwich. Yes, you are, Jason. And I'll thank you never, ever to say that out loud again. And Q will apparently thank you to say that never, ever again as well. Terra Nova from the viewers. This is good. Terra Nova giving an A-bomb and a dub bomb to Rift for breaking Troy and his rant about the Battle Pass during his stream yesterday. Yeah, for as much as Troy does on MMO Bomb, apparently he doesn't read the fucking articles. Because when he streamed Rift yesterday, I'm in chat and he's like, "Wait, this game has a battle pass now?" And I was like, "It's like season 5. What are you talking about? Does this have a battle pass now?" Yes, it has a battle pass. I don't know what season it is. It's like 5, 6, something like that. From other viewers, C-Swag saying Troy and the Bless bit last week was great. Yeah, we did break Troy at the beginning of the show by throwing Bless in there. Go ahead, Wilfredo.
Martin the Messiah says the new design / look of the show is great. I remember from 7-8 years ago, and it was about time for some change. Good job.
Thank you. We like it too. Go ahead, Robin.
Raised 0101 says small correction. The previous expansion endgame change up was in the Metamorph League, where they introduced the new endgame boss, the Awakener / Sirius. That was introduced in the Conquerors in the Atlas expansion. The next league was Delirium League, then Harvest League, then Heist League, and now Ritual League, along with the Maven final boss and Echoes of the Atlas endgame expansion. Basically, it's 4 leagues per year and 1 endgame expansion per year for their ideal release schedule.
You are absolutely right, Ray Z. I accept the correction on my terminology between expansion and leagues. When I did go back last week, I could understand why you would want to correct that. So thank you. Absolutely thank you. Guardian Vale, dub bomb to the rant of Troy, Noob Fridge, Blackburn about Bless. You made me laugh. Bless you. And to Path of Exile, love the new league. It was good last week. It was good. Go ahead, Wilfredo.
I don't know if this is a part of Guardian.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Guardians wasn't done. Yeah, sorry, Guardian. A-bomb to greed. It brings out the worst in people. And I have a question about Tencent. Okay? If we're going to go crazy, Tencent is buying Electronic Arts. I didn't look at Tencent's financing to see if they actually could do it. I'm going to go with no. I mean, I'm sure there's enough money that could be gathered up there, but I'm going to go with no. I don't think EA's in any desire to sell to anybody anytime soon. Go ahead, Wilfredo.
Zach's Proxy. I hope Tencent won't buy NCSoft ArenaNet. Guild Wars 2 is already a lot of RNG, loot box, and gemstone stuff that makes people angry.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, like whether you like Tencent or not, you don't really generally see a lot of changes to the games themselves when they become the shareholder. So
yeah,
that is true.
I mean, you're gonna, Zach. I think you would just stay as angry as you are. Like, I don't think you would get angrier. I just think you would you would still be angry about the loot boxes and gem store stuff. This might be my favorite comment of all time. Go ahead, Robin.
Dr. Alexandrius. Hey.
Well, Doctor. Hey. Question of the week last week. What genre is missing or vastly underrepresented in the free-to-play space? And if you know or have an idea, why do you think that is? Guardian Vale says, question of the week. Games like Abzu, beautiful, mystical, exploring games with good music. And that is absolutely true. Like, you don't see too many, like, Mists and Riven and The Witness. That was a great game. I love that game.
I just want to say something about Abzu real quick. The music is not good in there. It's amazing.
It is.
Absolutely amazing.
It is. I mean, I guess the only real reason that I could think of right off the top of my head why we don't see more like that is probably lack of an ability to really monetize it and make it free to play, right? Like, can you think of another reason why we don't see a ton of those in the free to play space?
Yeah. I think it's hard to I think it's a more of a niche kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there are some people very interested and excited about those games, but it doesn't have quite the broad appeal of some of the other things. And I think with free-to-play games in particular, generally making a broader net works out better.
Go ahead, Wilfredo.
Sure. Kitsuruha. Question of the week. We need more twin stick shooters / melee. Don't really care which. I just personally love to see them. Twin stick come back more. I miss them, and there are great time killers, solo and in a group. To bomb for a game recently, I got it's a few years old called Rive. It's hard and it's a little frustrating, but it's the good kind of those, unlike most games that tried to do it recently.
I am all for the twin stick shooters in free to play. I would like to see more of those.
There's a game, it's not free to play, called Hatred that I picked up. It's a twin stick shooter. It's hard and it's awesome.
And that's another one though. Like, well, I think you could monetize that with cosmetics. I think you could absolutely do some cosmetic stuff there. I think we could have a creative multiplayer shoot 'em up too. Like that's a genre that I don't see a lot of in free to play that I would really like to. I love shmups. I love them. I'm not great at them, but I love them. Question of the week this week. All right, we're about 2 months from a beta. How interested are you in Magic Legends now? What are you liking? What are you not liking? What's your hype on a scale of 1 to 10? While you're giving us that feedback in the comments below on YouTube or on mmobomb.com, don't forget your weekly bombs. Robin's got it written down now, so you should too. Dub bomb for something good, A bomb for something bad in the world of gaming, or just life in general. It doesn't even have to be gaming. And if you've got a question for the panel, put it in the comments below. Now, quick show note here. We will be doing a free-to-play cast next Friday, the 5th, as normal. The 12th, however, we will have no cast. I will be out of town for my birthday. My 40th birthday, not my 50th birthday.
Wow. Who said it was your 50th?
No, it'll be my 40th birthday, so I'll be out of town. So show next week, but not the following week. Until next week, Robin, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Arlie82, and those are the best places really to find me.
Wilfredo?
You can find me at Twitter and Twitch now at Damien X Marius, twitch.tv/Damien X Marius.
Sweetness. I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there at magicman1, but more importantly, follow at mmobomb so you get all the tweets about the latest articles, interviews, giveaways, first look videos, free-to-play weeklies, free-to-play casts, and more. Until next week, stay safe. See you on the servers.